Now it's 7 on WKYT this morning. A man is in jail in Boyle County after police say he barricaded himself inside a home for hours and made threats.
State police are investigating 2 fires in 2 central Kentucky counties that they're calling suspicious. Details on those investigations ahead.
And Hillary Clinton has a new campaign office in Lexington. Plenty of the state's female politicians were at the opening, and so was Clinton's daughter. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and happy Saturday. I'm Meredith Jones.
And I'm Sean Moody. Thanks for joining us. We had a nice run of weather for a few days, but maybe not so much today.
No, things look like they're going to change. Actually, it's a severe weather day. Mike Linden is standing by to tell you more about it.
That's right, Meredith. We are looking at what looks to be a rather messy end to the month of April after what has been a really great second half to the month. But now here on the final day, we're looking at wet weather and what looks to be some pretty noisy weather as we head into our afternoon. Not so much right now. You can see some of those pop-up showers getting going over central Kentucky, but it's what's off to the west of us that is the big issue here moving forward. This big cold front is going to be pushing in all of this active weather northward over the course of our day today. And if you look at the southern edge of that front over the Texas area, that yellow box, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. There's some hail within that storm, too. Things are pretty messy over the Texas and Louisiana area. And all of this weather is heading northward, right on into the bluegrass. So we are looking at some strong to potentially severe storms to go along with heavy rain, too. But there's certainly more where this came from coming up. I'll break down hour by hour and show you what you can expect to see through your Saturday and into Sunday as we head into the month of May.
All right, Mike, thank you. Across the world, we're following a developing story out of Iraq this morning. We know that at least 17 people are dead and 35 others wounded.
A car bomb targeting civilians exploded in Baghdad, and we're being told no one has claimed responsibility for that attack yet.
Yeah, we'll continue finding out more throughout the morning. Now, back here at home, a man is in jail this morning in Boyle County after police say he barricaded himself inside a home for hours and made threats.
That's right. It happened on Earl Street in Danville. Kentucky State Police had to evacuate some nearby homes. WKYT's Miranda Combs is at the live desk with our top story this morning. Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning to you, Meredith and Sean. Randall Foley is being held in the Boyle County Detention Center this morning. Police charge him with kidnapping and terroristic threatening. State police tell us Foley claimed he was holding a woman against her will and threatened to light dynamite if anyone knocked on his door. Police say when they arrived on scene, one of their first concerns was making sure Foley's neighbors were safe, and those neighbors didn't know what was going on and didn't know what to think of the large police presence.
Neighbors, like 10 of them come swarming down through here.
They just started getting out, put their vests on, got their rifles, and just went back there to that backyard around the corner.
Now, state police threw tear gas inside the home and later sent in a K-9 unit to find Foley. The woman inside his home left before police arrested Foley, and she was not hurt. At the live desk, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Thank you, Miranda. Well, state police are investigating 2 fires in 2 central Kentucky counties that they're calling suspicious. The first fire started at a home in Garrett County yesterday morning. The second started at a home on High Bridge Road in Jessamine County a few hours later. Firefighters say no one can live in that home for now. Investigators say they have reason to believe that both cases are arsons. They tell us both homes that burned were for sale and say it's possible the 2 fires are connected.
One of 5 people charged in the murder of a man in Rowan County now admits to playing a role in the crime. According to the Moorhead News, 21-year-old Jack Abrams pleaded guilty to murder, robbery, and evidence tampering yesterday morning. He's now facing 30 years in prison when he's sentenced on May 20th. Police say the victim, 20-year-old Bo Otis, was killed during a home invasion back in June of 2014. The 4 other people charged in the case are scheduled to be back in court next month.
2 inmates are back in custody this morning after police say they walked away from work release. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says 41-year-old Charles Migrant and 40-year-old Reggie Jones were supposed to be working at Kentucky Correctional Industries in Frankfort, but deputies say they found both nearby. Both inmates have been charged with criminal trespass and escape. and they both had been serving time at Blackburn Correctional Complex in Lexington. A two-state manhunt is finally over. The U.S. Marshal Service says 39-year-old Raymond Pruitt is in custody. He was captured in Alabama yesterday after a car chase. Pruitt was wanted in Alabama and Florida on multiple charges, including murder.
In politics, Donald Trump says the Republican Party needs to unify behind him as its nominee. But he told California GOP power brokers yesterday that even if the party doesn't unite, he still thinks he can beat Hillary Clinton. Republican presidential candidate John Kasich says more people should take a, quote, chill pill. At a town hall in California yesterday, Kasich said people need to learn how to get along rather than turn to legislation involving gay rights and marriage equality. And Indiana Governor Mike Pence is endorsing Ted Cruz in the state's critical Republican primary next week. Pence announced his support yesterday afternoon in a radio interview. That endorsement is a big step for Cruz to try and block Trump from getting the delegate majority. If Trump wins Indiana, it would nearly ensure he gets the nomination.
The Bernie Sanders campaign has withdrawn a lawsuit accusing the Democratic National Committee of wrongfully cutting off its access to a voter database. The DNC said yesterday that an outside tech security company found evidence of a data breach from 4 user accounts from the Bernie 2016 campaign.
Hillary Clinton has a new campaign office in Lexington. Her daughter, Chelsea Clinton, was in town for the opening yesterday morning. Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes and Kentucky's first female governor Martha Lane Collins were also there. The Hillary Clinton campaign office is off Winchester Road in the Eastland Shopping Center. Chelsea Clinton said this is an important election.
I think there is so much at stake in this election, and I think we need someone who is a problem solver. We need someone who knows how to make progress.
Hillary Clinton plans to make a campaign stop in Ashland on Monday. Kentucky's primary is May 17th. As you remember, Republican voters chose a presidential candidate in a caucus last month, but other races for both Democrats and Republicans will be held on that May 17th primary.
Well, China's UN ambassador says North Korea has made a proposal to halt its nuclear program, but that's only if the U.S. and South Korea suspend their joint military exercises. China's ambassador says the proposal is worth consideration. And Chinese authorities say 14 people were killed when a truck carrying stones overturned and dumped its cargo onto a roadside activity center. Authorities there say the truck's brakes had failed. The accident happened on the eve of the 3-day May Day holiday.
And in Kenya, officials say a 6-story residential building has collapsed after heavy rain and flooding. The Kenya Red Cross says a search and rescue team has pulled out 3 children and 1 adult from the rubble. Officials say at least 7 people are dead.
And Keeneland's spring season, well, it's in the books, and track leaders there are calling it a success. They say more than 262,000 people attended races at the track this month, making it the 4th highest spring meet attendance, and it's nearly 5% higher than last year's spring meet. Keeneland leaders also say they saw a nearly 24% increase in all betting compared to last spring.
And it was some great spring weather out there for that horse racing. I mean, you look at that video, you can't ask for better than that.
Yeah, and I mean, the crowds really came out when we had those few days of beautiful weather.
Absolutely. I always love that. Now it's the long wait till the fall meet begins.
Yes, that's true.
It's 7:08 now on your Saturday morning. There's still plenty of news ahead here on WKYT this morning.
And if you're looking for a rom-com to see at the movies this weekend, that also happens to be holiday-themed. Mother's Day may be what you're looking for. A preview coming up in about 10 minutes.
And if you're thinking about doing anything outdoors today, you might want to think again. Some strong to potentially severe storms are set to bear down on the bluegrass. I'll show you when they'll arrive coming up. It is a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day. The final day of April looks set to be unlike what we saw for most of April. It looks to be wet and stormy through most of your day today. So if you're planning on being outside today, at least it's early enough in the day that you can start to form a backup plan, because right now things look okay. Some scattered storms over northern and northeastern Kentucky, but it's what's over western Kentucky, the Paducah area right now, that's moving eastward, and it will continue to move eastward over the course of our day today. A warm front sitting over the southern edge of the Bluegrass State, pushing in that warmer air. But as we look to the west of that frontal system, here's a cold front bringing what looks to be a pretty messy day to the bluegrass. You can see within that frontal system as well some strong to heavy rainfall, and right now over the Texas area at the southern edge of that cold front, some severe weather as well. Tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings have been popping up all morning long over the Lone Star State. But here in the Bluegrass State, we are looking at the potential for severe weather, although right now only in the slight category for central and western Kentucky. That does include Lexington, Scott County, Clark County, and that does extend southward along I-75 into spots like Corbin, Laurel County, Whitley counties, and Pulaski County. Eastern Kentucky under a marginal risk for severe weather, but nonetheless, whether it's strong or severe, it's going to be wet, as we are looking at quite a bit of rainfall over the course of your day today. So let's take you hour by hour and break down what we can expect to find. This is 10 o'clock this morning, looking at the first of the heavy rainfall swinging through the Bluegrass State, Laurel County through Madison County and into Lexington and the state capital, getting the first wave of energy. Into the afternoon, a slight break. Some scattered showers will still be out there, but as we get into the evening hours, that's where things do begin to potentially hit that severe category. We're not only looking at some strong winds at this point, but the heavy rainfall likely to continue as well, and those thunderstorms will certainly be there too. You can see on the high resolution data here, we have the reds, the oranges. That's some heavy rainfall, and that's overnight tonight. Not the best time when you're talking about the potential for severe weather, because most people are at home, at least they might not be able to see it with the skies being dark at 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll pretty much be looking at that severe weather, and strong weather, I should say, taking us into Sunday morning. The wet weather certainly could become a concern if you live near a small creek or a stream. Right now, problems aren't really that out of control, but certainly things could get a little wild as we head into the overnight hours. So if you live near a small creek, at least keep your eye on it moving into Sunday. By that point, though, mainly looking at some leftover scattered showers before things do begin to improve a little bit, at least for a little bit, as we head into Monday afternoon. So as far as the impacts out of this weather, we're looking at high winds, hail a possibility too, and flooding. Certainly a concern moving through the next few days. As far as tornadic activity goes, still pretty low, but that is something that we will certainly have to keep our eye on moving forward. And as I touched on with flooding being a concern, here's why. Look at the rainfall totals that models are spitting out as we head into Monday morning. This is cumulative, up near about 3 inches. Most spots between about 1.5 inches, close to about 3 inches. That's a lot of rain in 48 hours. So that is something that we will certainly be keeping our eye on. Into your afternoon today, only really getting back into the lower 70s as active weather looks set to take us through most of your day. And as you saw in the hour-by-hour forecast, Sunday looks rather similar too. So again, if you have plans to be outside today, it is certainly early enough at this point to start to think about a plan B, because strong to severe weather likely to occur almost the entire day today.
Keep an eye throughout the day, I'm sure. Thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks. Well, it is 7:15 when WKYT returns this morning.
We got a lot more coming your way. Marvel's latest blockbuster is off to a fantastic start internationally. We'll get a preview of the newest superhero flick before it comes to North America coming up.
Good morning and welcome back to WKYT This Morning. We are in the midst of a WKYT First Alert severe weather day as strong to severe storms get set to bear down on the bluegrass. Right now, mainly looking at some scattered showers over northern and northeastern Kentucky, moving through the Rowan County area and toward Ashland. But you can see what looks to be a lot of active weather coming in off of the west and coming in from the southwest. In fact, a cold front pushing all of this active weather toward the Bluegrass State. In fact, over the Texas area, you can see what is possible within this storm system. And it looks to be a little bit of everything. Heavy rainfall, some strong winds, and look at the severe thunderstorm warning, that yellow box there, not to mention, how about a tornado warning right now over Louisiana and Texas, not to mention all that hail, too. It is the springtime. I mean, severe weather is certainly something to expect moving forward, and today looks to be the first taste of it for the Bluegrass State. Most of us will be under a slight risk for severe weather. That does include central and western Kentucky. It includes Scott, Clark, Franklin, Fayette County, southward into Laurel and Pulaski counties. Eastern Kentucky under a marginal risk, and that does include northeastern Kentucky as well. But regardless of what we see, whether it be strong to severe storms, we are all going to see wet weather today, and that's going to continue through most of our day today. Into the afternoon, high temperatures barely getting back into the lower 70s. But remember, when you're talking about thunderstorms, you do not want any sunshine, because the clearing skies allows for those storms to grow taller and therefore grow stronger. So we need temperatures to stay in the upper 60s and low 70s for things to not cross over into that severe range. Brian Milam is back in next with sports.
Good morning, everybody. We begin with some sad news. If you did not hear about it yesterday, Ed Davender taken off of life support on Friday after suffering a heart attack earlier in the week, dying at the age of 49. Davender played under both Joe B. Hall and Eddie Sutton. He played with the likes of Kenny Walker and Rex Chapman. Coming out of Brooklyn over 30 years ago, he was a very good fit at Kentucky.
Ed was a bright young man. He adapted very well to the academics. He spoke well, and he was a very easy young man to coach.
Once again, Ed Davender has died at the age of 49. John Calipari continuing to get in shape, putting up another video on his website. Yesterday, Cal was in the weight room pumping the iron, and he said he would press 270 pounds, warning others his age not to try it.
Middle-aged men, please don't do it. Look at me and be jealous. I get that a lot. Just don't worry about it. 2 seconds. 2, 3. Go. Good. 1. Good. 2. One more. Push. Hey. Did you really think I was going to bench 270 pounds? Really? Come on.
Calipari said he's training because next season is going to be a war, and he said he'll be talking more over the next few weeks about where things started 7 years ago and where it's all going right now. Yesterday, once again, Kentucky fans showing they love Tyler Eulis. A big turnout in Georgetown at Bevins Motors for an autograph signing, and Tyler sure appreciates the fans, but things can get a little unusual.
The craziest thing I signed was like it was a cat. It was a wild cat. It was dead, but it was stuffed. And yeah, he had it sitting up on a little stand, and I had to sign that.
Were you like, seriously a cat?
Yeah, I didn't know it was real at first. I thought it looked real, and then when he said it was just stuff. It was like, wow.
You sign the darndest things, don't you? That's a look at sports. Enjoy your weekend.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Hope your Saturday is off to a nice start. This weekend on Kentucky Newsmakers, Kentucky's Attorney General Andy Beshear talks about what his office is up to and about the controversy swirling after he sued Governor Matt Bevin over his cuts to higher education and has challenged him on other issues.
The Constitution is very clear, as is every Supreme Court case on issue, that only the legislature can decide how to spend state money. The governor's argument here is in that state budget where they fulfill their constitutional duty, the legislature only sets a ceiling, and that he and he alone as governor gets to decide how much, if any, of that money he spends where they said it needs to. What that does is it would mean the governor has the power to defund anything he wants. He could send $0 to public schools. He could defund the state police. Nobody has that power in the Commonwealth of Kentucky because the Constitution prohibits it. Bill, I believe I'm standing up for our liberty and for the protections of our liberty. But in the end, to me, I do want to say that it's not personal. Now, it sounds personal, and I can't say if it's personal or not from the other side. But to me, it is doing my duty. I gave the governor 7 days from when he made the cuts. We provided a letter outlining why we thought it was unconstitutional. We tried to work with this administration to bring them back in line with the Constitution, but in the end, it doesn't matter what governor is in office. It's my duty to make sure that they follow the rules.
Is it fair to ask, though, Mr. Attorney General, even if you're saying that it's not personal, that it is to some extent political, in that during your statement to the press about announcing the lawsuit, you made it clear that you disagree with the priority of cutting funding to higher education?
I do, but that doesn't come to bear in the lawsuit. The lawsuit isn't about whether we should fund pensions or higher education. It's does the governor have the power to decide what to fund, when to fund, solely at his whim? Does the governor have the power to defund the state police when the legislature has provided that funding? That answer is no. But politically, I do greatly disagree with cutting higher education, but it's legal under the current budget for the next 2 years. It's just not legal going backwards. But let me talk about that. This governor said that he did not want to balance the budget on the backs of our children. Well, cutting higher education does just that, and we're starting to see the terrible impacts of cuts. One of the community colleges is laying off over 100 people. They say, the CPE said the other day that tuition could go up for Murray freshmen almost 10%. EKU is cutting programs, including a journalism program. Morehead State has already gone through furloughs. So this topic of higher ed, for some reason we've talked a lot about university presidents. I care a lot more about the students. And it's the students and students alone that suffer when we make these cuts, especially when we don't have to.
Now, you can see the full edition of Kentucky Newsmakers on WKYT tomorrow morning at 6, or on its repeat at 10 o'clock tomorrow on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. I'm Bill Bryant, and we'll be right back on WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning, 7:55 on your Saturday. Here's what's coming up next on CBS This Morning Saturday.
Washington Post politics writer Philip Bump is in the Studio 57 with a closer look at the latest in the 2016 presidential campaigns.
And it is a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day today. We are tracking what looks to be a rather messy end to the month of April. All month long, the weather was really great, but today, the final day of it, looks to be maybe the messiest. Strong to severe storms move in as we head into the afternoon, bringing not only heavy rain and some strong winds, but possibly hail and tornadoes as well. The probability of tornadoes still low, but it is something that we will have to watch out for. And this particular storm has already brought tornado warnings to the Texas area. Of course, quite a ways away from Kentucky, but it is something that we're watching. Moving into Sunday, a chance for some leftover storms, but then the cooler air moves in to kick off the work week, so temperatures do drop back a little bit into the month of May. All eyes, once we get past this weekend, will be on Derby weekend next weekend, which looks like things could be cooler than normal. Could even see some overnight lows falling into the 30s as we work our way into Derby weekend. So a very interesting end to the month of April and into the beginning of May. But there will be updates all day long on the weather on WKYT.com.
All right, yeah, for sure. Stay with us throughout the day. Have a good one.